Hey there, welcome to day 93. We are reading the second half of Luke chapter 9, and we see some similar stories that we read in other Gospels. But what stood out to me today was definitely the idea that Jesus is coming to the end of his earthly ministry, and he has a sense of urgency. As he is traveling with the disciples, um, they are trying to cast out this demon from this boy, and the dad says, your disciples tried, but they couldn't do it. And Jesus makes a comment that implies that he maybe not frustrated, maybe a little bit worried about. He's thinking, we don't have much time, and we need your faith to be deeply rooted before I'm gone. And so he's showing a little bit of that idea of we have to have a sense of urgency. And then he talks about foretelling his crucifixion, and it made me think, Jesus was literally living like he was dying. And it just reminded me of, there's a country song that talks about living like you're dying, and what would you do if you knew, when you were going to die or that you were dying. And Jesus did know that. And so the way he lived definitely gave us an example of how we should be living our life. Because while we may not know the day or the time, we also know that this life is temporary, and that we, in the big picture, don't have as much time as we think to share the gospel and to talk to those that don't know Jesus, whether they're friends or family or just people that we meet. And so we need to follow Jesus' example here and truly live like the idea of that this is temporary and we don't have much time to spread the word to those around us. And then we also see that a couple of truths. One is that following Jesus is not without sacrifice. Toward the end of this chapter, it talks about Jesus, and it says, the Son of Man does not have a place to lay his head. And so that if you were going to follow Jesus, then you had to make sacrifices to do so. And we find that in our lives today, that there's certain things that we skip out on, or certain maybe movies that we don't watch, or there's things that maybe we don't let our kids do because it doesn't represent the person of Jesus. And while those are little sacrifices on our part, they're all adding up to the big picture that is following Jesus comes with sacrifice. And then we also see that following Jesus, we should follow him. It should be the first thing in our mind. When it talks toward the end about the people wanting to bury their dead, they're talking about, well, let me stay till my Father's gone and then I'll follow you. But Jesus should be the first thing that we choose when it comes to our obedience. And then finally, we should follow Jesus without delay. And that's how Luke chapter 9 wraps up, is this idea that there's not a lot of time. And so when we are choosing Jesus, we should choose him quickly, follow him, make him our top priority, and live our life with such an urgency that we are sharing the gospel as often as possible so that others will come to know him and that he will be made known and be glorified. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.